ARC. I do spiritual group meetings there.
That's cool.
So just trying to stay involved,
Yeah, definitely. I can relate to that because I'm 26 and my drug of choice was heroin, so I kind of get the youth and kind of the epidemic that's happening even. Can relate to that.
Yeah, it's just amazing and how fast it happened. I mean, I started doing this group maybe 7 years ago or so. But when I went through this treatment center, it was mostly older people, mostly alcoholic. Some people there for speed and other drugs, and so I was doing other things, volunteering there. But all of a sudden, the whole place was filled up with young heroin addicts, and there was just all these young people running amok in the program. And so the head therapist, myself, and the rabbi, we sat down and talked about a special group just for the young people. And I was amazed that all these young people were heroin addicts. I mean, and their stories all similar. I mean, they're upper middle class kids, really, most of them. They come from multitude Jewish families and stuff, and their stories were just incredible, and very relative, to the whole starting with pills and then smoking it and then eventually using it intravenously, and it's a real epidemic. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. What's some advice that you would give on staying clean and staying on a good path? Not going back to jail or not going back to using?
Well, one of the things that I always point out to the kids in my group, is I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and successes and failures, and but it wasn't until I experienced this pathway to recovery that I realized a real focus and a real success. I mean, the best years of my life have been the last 10 years, and so many wonderful things that have happened for me. And there's been difficult times, of course, they always come, but, it wouldn't be life without them. But I don't have to use because of them, I invite them, and I try to get these kids to see, look at how young you are. If you can grasp this life now, imagine the great success and the great life that you can achieve by getting sober now, getting clean now, so that's my advice, to get people to realize what a great life it is to just be yourself and to just have a good relationship with God, your higher power and people around you. And it's not only about staying clean. For me, I was a bad person, I mean, a gangster, I did a lot of bad things, and I spent a lot of time in prison, and it's not nice, you don't learn nice things in there, But now, I'm compelled to try to make good decisions and do the right thing, and it actually brings great joy to my life,
Yeah, that's something we're not used to, is doing the next right thing. And now that we have another chance to live a nice, happy life, it's like, why wouldn't we?
Right. I guess being a gangster, doing the right thing or being a good person was was weakness for us, And now it's just funny because people will look at me and say, dude, man, it's crazy. You look like this crazy guy, but you're the nicest person I've ever met. It's just, it takes real strength to, actually do the right thing. and try to be a good person. That's real strength.
Yeah, when nobody's looking.
Right.
Yep. What does a normal day look like for you?
Well, I work a lot. And it depends on what projects I'm working on, for my spare time, like, I was doing a lot of tattoo shows to promote my book, and also, book signings, things like that. But, our writing our book was, because I have a co-author, Steve Jones, was a great friend and a great writer. And without him, we could have never accomplished this, what we have with this book. And, so I spent a lot of my extra hours, working on that book. But I also work a lot. I'm a tattoo artist, and so I work 6 days a week, from 3 p.m. to midnight, so I spend a lot of time working on my craft and always trying to get better, and always, willing to learn. And then, whenever I have side projects like this art show that I do called Tatuaje, or, tattoo shows, and then 2 days a week, I do my group therapies and, and go to meetings. So I have a pretty full life.
Yeah, you stay busy.
I stay busy, and it's funny because I'm older, but, like, sometimes when I first got out of treatment, it takes a while to, get comfortable in your skin, and just learn to function without getting high and stuff like that. And, so when I first got out of treatment, I was, going through depression. I didn't have the energy, you know what I mean? Like, and all that's changed, as I continually, press forward and fought hard and worked hard on my recovery. I started getting more energy and being more vibrant and just, looking forward to getting up and going forward,
Yeah, having a reason to get up and be a part of something, and just having a life.
Just be excited about it, loving what I do, accepting difficulties as challenges,
Yeah.
just really going forward.
So about your book, how can people find out about your book?
Well, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
But you could go to my website, which is FreddyNegrete.com. It's Freddy with a Y. It's FreddyNegrete. And then, you can see everything I'm doing and everything I'm about, and, how to order my book and all those things.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Or it's just on Amazon.
I'll put that all on our show's notes as well. If people want to go to your website or buy your book, then they can. I'll put the link and everything so they can get to it.
Okay, and put my Instagram, Freddy_Negrete, so you can see the work that I do, my tattoo work, and upcoming events and what have you.
Yeah, I like following tattoo artists, so I'll have to find you on Instagram too. It's cool.
It almost seems like Instagram was made for tattoo artists.
Right.
People loved it. Like everybody that comes to me has hundreds of pictures from Instagram. They go, I want a tattoo like this, and they have all these pictures that they got off of Instagram. It's an amazing thing.
All their ideas.
Yeah. And just, social media, just in general, it's just amazing. I try to keep up, I'm older. A lot of people are just like, I don't like that stuff,
Right.
When you get older, but I really try to stay relevant with, all the new technology. Like, I always did everything on paper. Now I just use my iPad Pro to design all my tattoos and things like that. So try to keep up with that.
Yep, trying to keep up with the young kids
and the changing world.
Mm-hmm.
Changes so fast.
Well, thank you so much, Freddy, for being on Recovery Talk.
Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a wonderful Christmas. It's coming up, and also an anniversary. I hope you celebrate it.
Yes, I will.
Good. Well, thanks again, Freddy.
Okay, Holly. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. That was Freddy Negrete, who is best known for his pioneering black and gray tattoo style. His book, Guns, Gangs, and Tattoos, My Life in Black and Gray. You can find that on Amazon. Also on his website, freddynegrete.com. What an incredible story. Gang life and drug addiction, and how his passion for tattooing made such an impression on so many people. He's been a tattoo consultant on over 30 Hollywood films, and he has been in numerous interviews, print, video, online. Just what a cool, awesome guy. And as always, we do a meditation reading, and this one is from the Book of Awakening, Precious Human Birth. All of the things that exist, we breathe and wake and turn into a song. There is a Buddhist perception that asks us to be mindful of how rare it is to find ourselves in human form on earth. It is really a beautiful view of life that offers us the chance to feel enormous appreciation for the fact that we are here as individual spirits filled with consciousness, drinking water and chopping wood. It asks us to look about the ant and antelope, at the worm and the butterfly, at the dog and the castrated bull, at the hawk and the wild lonely tiger, at the 100-year-old oak and the 1,000-year-old patch of ocean. It asks us to understand that no life form has the consciousness of being that we are privileged to. It asks us to recognize that of all the endless species of plants and animals and minerals that make up the earth, a very small portion of life that has the wakefulness of spirit that we call being human. That I can rise from some depth of awareness to express this to you, and that you can receive me in this instant as part of your precious human birth. You could have been an ant, you could have been rain, I could have been a lick of salt, but we are blessed in this time, in this place, to be human beings, alive in rare ways we often take for granted. All of this to say this precious human birth is unrepeatable. So what will you do today, knowing that you are one of the rarest forms of life to ever walk the earth? How will you carry yourself? What will you do with your hands? What will you ask, and of whom? Tomorrow you could die and become an ant, and someone will be setting traps for you. But today you are precious and rare and awake. It ushers us into grateful living. It makes hesitation useless. Grateful and awake, ask what you need to know now. Say what you feel now. Love what you love now. It also has a few tips at the end. It says, sit outside if possible or near a window and note the other life forms around you. Breathe slowly and think of the ant and the blade of grass and the blue jay and what these life forms can do for you. Think of the pebble and the piece of bark and the stone bench, and center your breathing on the interior things that you can do that they can't. Rise slowly, feeling beautifully human, and enter your day with the conscious intent of doing one thing that only humans can do. When the time arises, do this one thing with great gratitude. So that was our daily reading. I also have a joke of the day. So our joke is, so this is the guy's part. He says, "Can I buy you a drink?" to the girl. "Sorry, but alcohol is bad for my legs." The guy goes, "Do they swell?" And the girl says, "No, they spread." Ha ha. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to Recovery Talk Podcast. You can email us at recoverytalkpodcast@gmail.com. Also, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Spreaker. Also, subscribe. It definitely helps us, and we can measure our growth. Thanks again for listening. I'm your host, Holly. Our next episode will be out February 1st. Have a good one.